Fast Start. My name is Darsay, and I hope you guys are all having a wonderful week. We are continuing our follow-through of the Clash tournament for Team Ham as they go on to take on Team FillQuest here in Game 2 on the lower side of the bracket. And once again, who else is joining me but none other than my friend Kairu. Kairu, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited for Game 2 of Ham. I want to see if they can bounce back and take this one, or if we're going to have to stop early on this.
Oh, yeah, it looks like there is going to be an invade on the team of side of FillQuest. It does look like Team Ham was able to push them off, and they do back away for the time being. There is a reset, so it looks like they are going to step away since they did get spotted out. But let's, Kyle, talk a little bit about, now that we're going to pause it right here at 1 minute mark, let's talk a little bit about the picks and bans of the into this game, excuse me. So, Kyle, let's talk about the bans from the side of FillQuest.
Yeah, FillQuest went ahead and banned Lee. They banned Udra, and they banned Seth. Jungles. I mean, we do know Booty does play a lot of Seth in the jungle. So they definitely threw a lot of bans his way.
Yeah, of course, as you said, he does play him a lot in the jungle, so a lot of bans did go towards Booty, and it also doesn't, I guess, surprise me to see those, because using the last game, for instance, and if you haven't watched it, go back and watch that game. The jungle spot played such a big role in how that game played out. And we already talked about it. We know that Booty is a very aggressive jungler, likes to do skirmishes. So getting him off of those comfort, early trading and skirmishing junglers definitely puts Team Ham already at a disadvantage to start the game. But he does pull out the Shen, who also can do some pretty reasonable damage in that early game. Team Ham, on their side, they ended up banning in the first round Swain, Caitlyn, and Mordekaiser. Something must have been shown for them to ban out the Caitlyn. But Kyle, let's talk a little bit about that Swain and Mordekaiser bans. What, I guess, to you says when you see Swain and Mordekaiser banned out in a first round, how much Team Ham doesn't want to play against those?
Yeah, a lot of times when you see bans like this, as you said, it's a lot to do with just don't want to deal with them. Swain can be extremely annoying, especially if on the side of Team FillQuest, if they do play that towards the bot side as the support Swain, it can be extremely annoying. And yet again, the Mordekaiser ban, it's something that just Team Ham just does not want to deal with. I do know the annoyance of what the annoyance of Mordekaiser can be, and I mean, when you have an issue with the champion and hate playing against them, you're going to see a lot of bans that champ's way.
Yeah, and just doing a quick talk about that, because I do, again, have the screen grabs up from the last game. FillQuest did play in the previous game, which ended up, of course, they lost and got knocked down into the bottom tower. Swain was played as well as the Mordekaiser. However, the Swain did fairly well, 2, 3, and 10 in the support role. Of course, not getting a lot of farm, but the Mordekaiser went 3, 9, and 2. So I think, again, as you kind of said, and I alluded to as well, it really feels like the ban of the Swain and Mordekaiser was more so they saw those two played, and despite not having great games on them, decided we don't want to play against that regardless, so we're going to ban them out. In the second swing of the bans, FillQuest goes with the Volley ban and the Fizz ban. So Volley, of course, was played by Booty in the previous game, and the Fizz ban, obviously, is another assassin in the mid lane. Kyle, your experience playing against Frost, is that something you find common to ban against him?
Not usually. Usually when you play against Frost, you're going to get the Echo and Yasuo, possibly Nico bans out. But to me, this is more of a let's not deal with Fizz. If he comes out, we hate this type of ban. Again, like that Mordekaiser on the side of Ham.
Yeah, and I will say, even though Voli got banned out, Team Ham picked up the Shen in the first set of picks, so that ended up being a wasted ban for Team FillQuest. Of course, you don't know exactly where the Shen's going to go when he's picked. He is a flex pick, could easily be played in top, could be played in support, and has been seen as of late some play in the jungle, and of course in this instance is played in the jungle. And of course Team FillQuest ends up picking the Echo, so maybe that's why they didn't ban the Echo, as you said, which is a common ban against Frost in the mid lane. But I guess let's talk a little bit about Ham's second round bans. What do you think about the Rammus and Lux bans?
Lux, I do know, can be banned quite a bit. A lot of mid laners do prefer to play Lux. I mean, why not? I played a lot of Lux when I was playing mid lane. She's a champ that you can outpoke, just severely blow somebody up. Can be really annoying. And Rammus, that must be a target ban on their side against the jungler for Team FillQuest. You don't see a lot of Rammus, and if you see him banned, it's because of their scouting is telling him to ban him.
Yeah, I will say, looking at the scouting into this game, their jungler did play a Rammus before. Has 83 games on Rammus with a KDA of, let me just see this real quick, 4.8 onto the Rammus. Now, the thing that is important, though, is the jungler that was played, and let me just double check, trying to compare names on the side of Team FillQuest. Yes, they are. So, Wheelchair Gang, the jungler in this game, Echo, did play mid in the previous game. So they did ban out the Rammus, who, of course, that was his most played jungler in ranked. But it is a little surprising banning out the Rammus despite him playing mid in the previous game. So, of course, that is a target ban. And then just trying to do a quick look at this Lux play. I'm trying to see quickly. Of course, this is we don't get to see the scouting like everyone else does, so I'm trying to use some screen grabs and quickly look at this. It looks like the Lux ban maybe was, just as you said, a ban of, hey, just let's get her out of here. It doesn't show, at least not what I'm seeing, of that a high play or something of the Lux.
I will say Lux versus Viger can be pretty annoying as well. Viger, as good as, you know, he can definitely is definitely someone that can keep you somewhat away, obviously, but with that range from Lux, Viger can be really easy to burst down.
All right. Well, with all of that out of the way, we did talk about everything that's going on. So let's get into the game. We'll be unpausing it in 3, 2, 1. Unpaused, and we're starting the game off again. Just to recap, people, because we did talk about those picks and bans for a little while. Team FillQuest did try to do an early invade, but was caught out by Team Ham. So they did reset. Looks like they're going to be starting on blue side. And Team Ham is going to start with the red buff. Excuse me, not blue side. Blue buff, and Team Ham is going to be starting at the red buff. So we could end up seeing a collapse or a meeting point of the junglers either in the top lane or in mid lane, depending on where their jungle path takes them.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you see these jungle paths, you will see these guys meet up.
That
with
must
the
have
Scuttle.
been a misplay because Senna ended up stealing the blue buff from his own jungler. I cannot imagine in any scenario that was the planned scenario.
No, especially on Echo. You're losing out on... Oh, nice hook on the Bard, but he does have to back off, taking a lot of damage. It was a nice trade both ways.
And a big trade happened in the top lane too. Garen just dancing away as he tries to regen his health. But Darius getting that early advantage up there. Yeah, Kyle, finish your thoughts on Echo losing out on the blue buff, because you have played Echo, of course, a number of times, and you have jungled Echo before. How much does that hurt him as a caster in the jungle?
It hurts quite a bit. You are going to notice him fall behind in levels pretty quickly versus the Shen. When you lose your initial buff and that, the XP that you should have gotten from it, it hurts a lot, especially when you're on somebody like Echo that relies on his abilities to clear.
And another big trade going on with Darius and Garen in the top lane. And Shen does come out and spot the crab. Is he able to secure it? Who ended up getting it? Shen does smite it and ends up securing. Why am I having a brain fart on the crab name there? Scuttle Crab. Yep, it would come to me at some point. Oh my god, now we have a DC in the top lane. This is definitely not going to be the game for Team FillQuest. Unfortunately, the DC, and again, something that is, of course, not known, but in Clash, there is no recess. It's just like Ranked. It's not like Pro Play, where, of course, a DC happens and we get a pause or something. Team FillQuest just has to play without their top laner currently.
And this is a time that if you're Echo, depending on the situation going on, you do want to keep jungling, but as you do that, you do want to try to hit that lane to try to get whatever farm you can up there to continue to level yourself up.
Oh, a good hook onto the Ashe there, but Thresh does go under tower, takes a tower shot. They still get out a pretty good trade onto the bot lane of Team Ham. And another hook comes out, does not land that one. Bard was out looking like maybe he was trying to ward, or maybe it was just trying to gather some chimes. Gets spotted out by the Echo, has to use the magical journey to get through the wall, get back into the safe lane, and it looks like the bot lane is going to reset back with the minion wave crashing onto the tower.
As we see, obviously, Dragon is up now. We do have a Mountain Drake up, and Red does have vision on it as well as Team Ham. But here's another situation. Do you allow Darius to continue to farm and level up? Or do you try to focus on getting these objectives?
Yeah, right now it really feels like they're just focusing on staying in their lanes, and they're going to let the Darius free farm in the top. I don't know if it was they're having confidence that Garen is going to return, or if they're just saying, hey, you know what, we're just going to play our game and, despite the DC and move forward. But the thing that is, there it is. Garen reconnects right here at 6 minutes. Of course, such a big disadvantage. Flash comes out from Bard to avoid the death sentence. They are going to turn around. They do get the root onto Bard. Echo has not stepped into the lane. He does now. And down goes Bard for the first kill. Booty is getting pulled out from under. Flash has to be used so that way he doesn't suffer the damage. Flash from Ashe. I feel like that flash from the Ashe was a little pre-used. TP being used from Darius. He does sidestep the snare from the Senna. Thresh does get hit by the Q. Ult comes out from Darius. Is he going to fall under tower? He does. He gets the life heal from there, but he does finally drop. And Nico also showing down here. This was such an extended fight in the bot lane, but it does come out positive for the side of Team FillQuest, 2 kills to 1. And Garen is now able to free farm in the top lane and try to, close that gap that DC ended up giving over. And
on the side of Ham there, they do get the TP advantage now with the Viger still having TP. That was very nicely done by the Thresh, able to hook Darius under the tower and flay him back. It allowed them to stall him just enough time, obviously, to take those extra turret shots.
Kyle, I do got to ask you, looking at the CS disadvantage in the bot lane between this Ashe and Senna, how surprised are you to see Senna so high up in CS and already carrying a 600 gold lead against this Ashe?
I am pretty surprised. Senna, as much as she can farm, but obviously it is at a much slower rate with her having to stop, shoot.
Garen is going to die here, just waiting. Booty does dive under tower with the taunt, does take a tower shot, but there is no escape for this Garen. He does trade a good amount back to the Shen, but that collapse happens, and down he goes. Garen just not having a good day. The DC happens, then gets killed under his tower. Oh boy, if anyone gets tilted off of something, I could definitely reason with that Garen currently.
Nico's still hanging up out there though.
Does get pulled in by the Darius, does get a decent amount of damage. Here comes the Echo. They get the stun onto the Darius, and he gets wiped off the map. Kill going over to the Echo. He is now sitting at 3-0 in your jungle spot. And again, that is a good person to have a lot of kills on. Despite it being your jungle, Echo can do a lot of damage if he gets ahead.
Especially with the start he had, getting this red buff stolen from him. He's now 3-0-0. He is level 6 as well as Shen, so he was able to keep up despite of that early fall. And here's a fight again in the jungle.
Oh, but they do. Looks like, he is going to end up getting collapsed. Here comes the Viger, and down he goes. Viger getting the kill and the shutdown gold. That's 300 extra smackaroos into the wallet of Viger. Something that's definitely going to help him out with trying to gain an advantage in the mid lane, which he's already sitting at a 900 gold lead. Yeah, that was a good invade from Echo, but with not having a lane priority in mid or top, definitely a misstep from the side of Echo on Team FillQuest.
They were able to get the kill on Ashe. Thresh had a really nice hook right when Bard went back onto the Ashe to bring her back just enough to flay him. And he did get the kill, though, and Senna was not able to secure the kill. So it would have been obviously much better to get the Senna the kill. But it was a kill nonetheless for the side of FillQuest.
And yes, now Senna is sitting at a 1,200 gold lead over that Ashe. Again, something that we did see in the last game when Azure played the Kog'Maw. He fell behind very hard against the Ashe, and it's already looking like they're falling behind here again. Some decent damage coming out from Darius on the Echo. He does have to ult to try to stay alive. He turns back around, gets a huge heal from his Q, eliminates and splits that Echo, and splits the Garen in two for a double kill. Darius 3-2 now in the top lane. If you had an advantage before, he has an even bigger one now. Nearly 1,500 gold. lead up in the top lane. That's something, again, we said it with the Akali last game. Now we're saying it with the Darius. Something you definitely don't want to see on that Darius.
Nope, and at the same time, Team Ham was able to secure the dragon. So it's allowing them to even... Oh, wait, Viger
misplaces his wall, but he does have the ult from Shen coming in. Flash comes out from the Nico, does secure the kill onto Viger. He is going to dash over the wall. Shen walks away, does lose his ult. Viger loses his flash. And yeah, that is a trade that, of course, FillQuest will definitely take every time. For the side of Ham, that's definitely some wasted needs, especially when you lose a Shen ult with such a large cooldown.
Yes, and on top of that, you do get the Viger's flash. Not sure if... Oh, Viger must have teleported behind.
He did teleport in, and they end up getting the kill back on for him. And now they are going to collapse down in the bot lane. It looks like some decent damage coming out from the side of Team Ham. And now here in the top lane, oh, this Garen. What are you doing? Just losing it. I definitely think a lot of this has to do with being tilted. Because that was just definitely when you're down in levels, in gold, you don't have any ability to really get away from this Darius. That's just feeding kills over easily.
Nice.
Oh,
done.
They are able to walk away. The Thresh there, he did do, of course, a good flay. Gets the ult, gets the slow onto the Bard. Here comes the Echo. He is going to dash in. And that was interesting. Bard dies, but I don't know. I'm a little confused. I know that Ashe didn't have any mana to really go help, but they just stood under tower. They are going to go back onto this fight. Darius gets exploded. Ashe gets exploded. And Team FillQuest, that is a fight that they needed. Now they're jumping onto the Viger. He does get hit by the Ethereal Chains. Gets snared by the Senna. Such big damage coming from Senna. Oh boy, this Viger, this might be dead meat for him. Oh, but the Thresh
just died.
A kill over. Oh my god, a misplay from the side of Team FillQuest.
But during all of this, Shen was able to drop the Rift Herald, get both mid lane towers, putting gold on everybody.
Wow. That is huge. Now, one thing that is good, the nice Bard ult. And he times it.
Double stun.
Wow, such a great play from Sacred Caretaker, and he gets 2 kills over onto this Ashe. Something the Ashe desperately needed. And here's Darius jumping onto the Garen, has to burn flash. Another flash return from Darius, and yeah, this Garen's going down. There's no way he gets out. Ult comes out, and death is all that Garen sees. 0-4 in the top lane, and he is sitting behind 2,000 plus gold. This Darius with that finish, Trinity, I am having a brain fart tonight. The Trinity Force, I kept trying to call it a Trinity Edge. The Trinity Force completed for Darius in the top lane is definitely something that Garen hates to see, because now there's no way he's getting away from that Darius.
No, he obviously has the massive lead on that versus that Garen, but back down to that bot lane fight, even though FillQuest was able to get some kills down there, Shen was able to get 2 towers in mid lane, and they overextended and stayed a little bit too long, allowing Ham to come back and get those kills back, which allows Ham to have this, not quite 1,000 gold lead, so the game is still really close. But when you have a Darius that far ahead, it is going to become a massive issue.
Yeah, you know, you look at this disadvantage, so to speak. Oh, we gotta have a fight over the Drake. Nico gets eliminated. The kill does go over to Bard, so it does not go onto a priority carry, but he does get the kill. They do secure the Drake. That is the second Drake over for Team Ham. At the roughly 22-minute mark is when the next Drake spawns. And if they end up getting that, they could be at soul point by the 27-minute mark. Not terribly quick in getting to the soul points, but they are doing a roughly speedy pace, I will say, at least, getting to soul point before the 30-minute mark.
They are, and for the Drake, that was a really nice job by the Viger to zone out most of the group. Nico was all alone on the other side, and she attempted to try to make that play, but got stunned up by the Ashe and Bard, and they were able to turn and blow her up instantly. And the rest of the team, FillQuest, was not able to do anything after that.
The flash does have to get burned from Viger to make sure he does not fall to that Nico and Thresh fight in the mid lane. But as I was trying to say right before that fight broke out, and I might have to stop again just because of where this positioning of the Bard is, when you look at where this gold lead is for the side of Team Ham, and as I said, I'm going to have to stop. Flashes do get burned. They are able to get out. Shen no longer has the flash. Neither does Nico. They do turn around and they blow up the Ashe. A misstep from Ashe and leads to her death and seeing all gray on her screen. Team FillQuest looking to siege this mid tower out, but all they have is the cannon minion. It goes down. The taunt comes out from Shen. Ends up exploding. Oh, that taunt ended up being the demise of Team FillQuest. Ult coming out from Bard. Flash has to come from Senna, making sure she is able to walk away. Does trade a little bit back, but that was such a great taunt from Shen to make sure that he got the tower onto Thresh, and then they just exploded Thresh and Nico in that fight. Garen is, again, just not able to do anything against this Darius except just drop his sword and dance away under that tier 2 tower. But as I was trying to say is, while Team Ham has an advantage, basically all of the advantage is in the top lane. The mid lane with Viger does have an advantage as well, sitting at 1,800 gold. But in the jungle, Echo with 1,000 gold lead over Shen. In the ADC spot, you have nearly a 2,700 gold lead for, a 1,700 gold lead for Senna. And in the support role, there's a slight gold advantage for the Thresh. So again, it is a lead. Ham does have the advantage, but it's on certain targets. If you can find ways to fight away from that Darius currently, I do think Team FillQuest could end up starting to snowball the game back in their favor. They're nearly evened up on towers 2-3. Now they are down 2 Drakes, but this is it. A lot of this is going to come down to great team fighting. And somehow, never mind. Excuse me. That fight ends up going out. Nico does go down, and they do get this snare. Oh, that was so unfortunate. Echo tried to dash away to avoid being snared from Bard's Q, and yet still gets hit. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Here they go, pushing into the base tower. Are they going to be able to secure it? And he gets the taunt onto Senna, and bye-bye Senna. Viger getting the kill. And they are going to open up the base. They are not, actually. They're going to have to back off.
No, with the Bard, he's had 2 Qs now, or 3 actually, that have been really nicely set up. The fight in the mid lane originally with the Shen taunt was able to be stacked with the Bard Q, and then as you stated there, Echo trying to dash away allowed Bard yet again get the stun off of with the double Q, and they were able to wipe that with no problem.
Oh, and here goes Team FillQuest trying to collapse onto this Darius. The Shen ult does come out. Flash has to come from Darius. And a 4-man taunt. Ashe ult comes through. And down goes Echo. Couldn't even get the ult off. Thresh too soon to follow. Oh, man. When I said that Team FillQuest had a chance to come back, they did. But now they are no longer looking like any chance is going to come back. Frost does get caught by the Senna. He does trade a Q, and of course, his stacks on his Q is so mightily. He has so much AP, sitting at 409 currently. Oh, boy. They are going to look to collapse onto Nico. Looks like Nico is going to be able to get away, but they are pushing in. And there's the surrender from Team FillQuest. Here at the 23-minute mark, Team Ham going ham, getting the win, and moving to the next round.
The amount of times that Team Ham was able to stack their CC was so nicely done that in a lot of these fights, the Team FillQuest was dead before they could even do anything.
Yeah, that was crazy. Now, just real quick to clarify why I got confused there in the mid lane is when the Bard ult landed, I saw Senna flash out so she didn't get hit by the ult. At that same time, Viger used his stopwatch. And I got confused thinking that Senna had somehow gotten hit by that ult. But, of course, it was the Viger there. But, you know, as you kind of said, they did such a great job stacking the CC whenever they had the chance. That Team FillQuest really had no way to come back. Now, the unfortunate side for Team FillQuest, there was that DC from the Garen. He did lose out, of course, on a lot of experience and farm, and played definitely a major hill trying to come back into this game. But without that, this was such a clean game from Team Ham. Of course, they made mistakes. We're at silver tier. It's low elo, I will say. So, of course, there are mistakes that were made from there. But just when it comes to the execution between both teams, Team Ham played very cleanly.
Extremely, and because of the way that game turned out, they obviously did a much better job warding up the jungles. There was a lot of vision on the board. They were able to control the objectives, and again, I can't get over the amount of times that Shen was able to taunt 2 or more people. Bard was able to Q him, and then on top of that, you get the Viger gate. I mean, in the end, Team FillQuest they couldn't do anything about it. Nobody built the QSS or anything to try to even get out of anything.
Yeah, that's this game really shows the importance of building items that counter your opponents. And as you said, there was no QSS there, no even Mercury treads using the tenacity to shorten at least the CC on the side of Team Ham. Nothing built to counter any of that. And you're again looking at a team, as you said, you have taunt from Shen, you have the cage from Viger, the ult from Ashe, the ult from Bard, the Q from Bard. There's so much CC that it's it's almost crazy to see that nothing was built on the side of Team FillQuest to counter any of that.
Yeah, and even going into the game, I'm surprised. As much as I understand getting teleport for mid, put the teleport on Senna. She has the lifesteal with her Q. She can sustain herself. Get a cleanse. I mean, you're going against Viger. As you said, and then you look at the rest of the team. You got with the Bard and the Shen. That's another thing is with summoners. Get the cleanse if you need it. If you know you're going against something like that, get the cleanse and start. And obviously, as I said before, QSS is extremely important. But because of the cost and people want to get their first items that they normally would get, a lot of times people tend to just avoid it.
Yeah, a lot of people get, especially in this low elo, they get stuck on certain builds and certain items to power, their squad, and you have to vary from those in order to gain advantages, or as we were talking about, to build against what you're going against, and yeah, this was such a clean game again for Team Ham. Kyle, who was your MVP on the side of Team Ham?
This is actually quite. It's pretty tough on this one because there's a lot of moments that I really enjoyed from the Bard being able to stack the Qs on the other situations, just to pretty much perma-stun everybody. But Shen getting that 4-man taunt at the end there to allow Bard to get to a stun and Ash Arrow and everything else to actually set up the plays. I'd have to give it to the Shen. I'd have to give it to Booty just for that fact. But this game was really close. They were able, like I said, the synergy in this game was definitely there.
Yeah, the synergy was much better this game than it was in the last game. My MVP is definitely going to go over to the Shen, just because he did some very clutch taunts again, including the one under tower. Team FillQuest just got a good advantage pushing down into tower, and he gets a double taunt with the tower turning onto Thresh, and then they're able to explode Team FillQuest in the mid lane, and it does allow Bard to land his ultimate, land his Q. Again, everyone followed up really well off of that, but there's just so many great taunts from Booty on that Shen that for me, he definitely gets that MVP honors. Kyle, before we wrap up this video, any final thoughts?
I pretty much said everything that needs to be said. This is why even playing in solo ranked or anything else, the importance of being able to stack CC, especially in games like this, and counter building. People need to definitely focus, and this is what happens when you don't. But overall, extremely clean game on the side of Ham. And it's nice to see him moving on to the next round.
Yeah, so again, we are going to be following Team Ham as they move into the next round. But Team Ham went ham, and they claimed the ham because they ended up getting the win. Team FillQuest moves down into the bottom bracket. I don't even know what you would call that. I'm going to call it the lower tier, because I know there is a guaranteed 3 games for Clash, so they get to play again. But again, we're following Team Ham as they move forward into the bracket. Will they get a win in the next one? We'll find out in the next video. But on this video, again, I want to thank Kyle for joining me so much for this video as we do things here. If you like the video, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below on your thoughts of how the game played out. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can be notified of future videos, and consider hitting that bell notification so you can be notified of every time I post. Once again, for the video, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Darsay, and always remember, people, your gaming news starts right here.